Hello, my name is Don Peterson, and I am this year's chairman for the United Foundation's Ford Employee Campaign. The United Foundation is an organization that deserves our support, and today, Mr. Henry Ford II would like to share some thoughts with you on this subject. Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Don. The 1976 torch drive for Ford employees in southeastern Michigan is underway. During the drive, you will be given all sorts of information about the United Foundation, the agencies it supports, and the services it provides. I don't intend to cover that ground here today. Instead, I want to take just a few minutes to talk to you about some facts that are critical to the success of our 1976 torch drive. These facts are: inflation has had a tragic effect on the purchasing power of UF contributions. There is a desperate need for larger contributions. Most Ford people have the financial ability to increase the amount of their contributions, and there is a Ford tradition of leadership in United Giving. Let me examine those facts one at a time to see how each bears on the task before us. Poverty, hunger, disease, illness, family problems, and the like always are with us. But there has been a substantial increase in these problems during the past 2 years. Not only do poverty and hunger increase in bad times, but they often lead to more disease and more illness. And the bad times seem to create more family relations problems than usual. All of these problems hit hardest at those who are least able to pay for help because of layoffs or prolonged unemployment. They are forced in turn, in increasing numbers, to community health and social service agencies for assistance. An increased workload puts strong pressure on the agencies because they are forced to live within tight budgets that were set before the heavier caseloads hit them. Adding to that pressure, particularly during the past 2 years, has been the erosion of the real value of UF budget dollars because of inflation. If you adjust for inflation, the UF pledges since 1967, you will find that the United Foundation has lost more than $6 billion in purchasing power. There's another equally dramatic erosion indicator. It compares the rate of inflation to the increase in allocations made each year to the various agencies. Allocations have come off a poor second in that comparison since 1967, as their small percent of annual increase failed to offset the rate of inflation. For 1975, when inflation climbed 6%, the UF income wasn't large enough to permit any increase in agency allocation. In fact, the United Foundation had to take $1 million from reserves just to hold 1975 allocations at the 74 levels. That's a very graphic example of the effect of inflation on the United Foundation. That brings me to the second reason for increasing our support in the 1976 UF campaign. Rising costs mean that the UF needs larger contributions just to stay alive. Let me cite just a few examples of cost increases that affect everyday basic types of help that the United Foundation provides. All of them justify the call for larger contributions and additional pledges to the 1976 torch drive. A pair of orthopedic shoes has gone from $21 a pair in 1974 to $28 a pair today, a 33.3% increase. Leg braces have gone from $260 to $350, a 34.6% jump. A body brace costs $850 today, up 30.8% from the 1974 cost. In short, expenses for providing UF services have risen sharply, and the rise in contribution has not kept pace. Many people have not increased their share of giving during the past couple of years. Others actually have reduced their giving or failed to meet their pledges. Most of them used economic conditions as an excuse. That excuse might be acceptable for those who are not working, but it's no excuse for most of those who worked steadily during the economic downturn. For the most part, Ford employees have done quite well during the past 2 years. Many have received cost of living allowance adjustments. Most have received general pay increases. Anyone protected during bad times by steady employment and from inflation by periodic pay adjustments should be in a position to give generously to help those less fortunate. Don Peterson and others who are conducting the 1976 torch drive will give you all sorts of material that will justify your UF support. There is one item in that material that is especially worth noting. Just 5.2% of every dollar contributed to the torch drive in southeastern Michigan is spent on the campaign and on year-round operating costs. The rest of your contribution goes directly to the agencies providing services to those who need them. I want to close this appeal by pointing to a very positive reason for giving generously to the United Foundation. Ford employees in southeastern Michigan contribute more year after year to the torch drive than any other similar group gives to any United Giving campaign anywhere. No one in the history of United Giving has been more generous than Ford employees in this area. Maybe that's because the whole idea of United Giving started in Detroit, and Ford employees played a leading role in the concept from the beginning. Whatever the reason, I believe that pride and accomplishment should be a strong motivator in our effort to exceed our goal again this year. We can do it if those who are not giving will give, and if those who are now contributors will give even more generously in 1976. People who need the UF need people who care. The ones who care have to be you and me, the people upon whom the United Foundation depends. Thank you very much.
Sea links the lives of 4 families. The story of one day in their lives. The Nolan family isn't unique. John Nolan is one of millions of people who work for a living, pays his taxes and tries to provide the best he can for his family. He doesn't feel his family is above average or less fortunate than most. But more and more these days, with unemployment and inflation cutting into the lives of so many families, he feels that the time could come when he couldn't make it. He's wondered what would happen if things really got bad. Who would help him? Who's there to help so many people? When you're 73, every new day is important. Little things can mean a lot.
I used to like to have marmalade with my bread and butter, but the doc said I better not do it anymore on account of my diabetes.
Fred Rosa and his wife Mary's existence on a limited income means that each meal is something to be shared. It's hard to be old and poor, feel that no one remembers, no one cares.
It's been kind of tough being alone, honey, but as long as I got you, I'll never feel like I'm alone.
I'm never alone.
Like a waste of time. You know, Dad, I've been thinking, maybe I could quit school and get a job so I could help you around the house some. That school I'm going to is not teaching me much.
What's this about you quitting school? Now, you just forget it.
Now listen, I don't want to hear about how bad your school is. I've always found a way to make it, and I'll get by somehow.
Yeah, Dad, I know, but you've been out of work for such a long time now.
I don't think you have any idea about how difficult it is out here to make it. I mean, unemployment in this country is 9%. In this neighborhood, it's 20%. I mean, there aren't any jobs out there for anybody. You can't get a job.
Box of baking soda, too.
Okay, babe.
Look, y'all hurry back. The weather bureau says there's a bad front coming through.
Well, we'll be home for supper time.
Okay.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.
Bye, babe.
Hurry back.
United Way meeting this afternoon.
I gotta get something. You know, my son's getting on my case this morning. He's talking about quitting school. I mean, I just can't take that kind of pressure. When I leave here today, I better have something. You come across anything that looks good?
No, I haven't come across anything. As a matter of fact, they have
I can't do this. You can't do it alone. But without these insulin shots, you'd be back in the hospital.
Well, honey, we can't afford to have a nurse come in. We'll just have to make do. That's what we'll do. We'll make do.
Here's the bulletin we've just received. The Weather Bureau has issued tornado warnings for Tyler, Henderson, and surrounding areas. Funnel clouds are sighted south of Longview and are moving rapidly this way.
Boy, look at that rain coming down.
Yeah, and I can't get these darn windshield wipers to work. Dadgummit. My gosh, looks like the whole road washed out. God, watch out! I guess the film you've just seen speaks for itself, and I hope that we've answered any questions that you might have had. All the agencies are listed in this brochure, and I guess we can all understand that if we give one pledge now to United Way, it'll work all year long to help all these agencies provide services that people in our town need. Some of you here have already used these agencies, or members of your family have been recipients of these services. But even if you never use these services, there's not one of us here who isn't mature enough to realize the time might come when we could. There are people who can't make it on their own, who need a helping hand. And I guess that's what United Way is all about. So the success of this campaign is really up to each and every one of us. I think we all know United Way is the best way to give, because it gives us the lowest overhead and fundraising costs, and that means more of the dollars really go to help people. Most of you here have given your fair share pledge over the years,
But this year, with unemployment and the cost of living what it is, the help from those of us who are working is needed more than ever. So let each of us do our fair share. And I want to ask Jenny and Alice to help me in collecting the cards. If you have any questions, I'll be here. Thank you.
What John Nolan does makes a difference. Now, through United Way's nursing and home health aides, they'll be cared for. Two old people who need help will feel a little less forgotten. Now, through United Way's information and referral programs, people are finding answers and the help they need. The help you're making possible.
This United Way information referral program is all about.
Really appreciate your help.
It's our pleasure.
Last year, 76,000 families were helped out of natural disasters. Tornadoes, floods, hurricanes are still a part of life we can't control. But what we can ensure is that through United Way organizations like the Red Cross, there will be people there to help.
Has there been any word from Athens? My wife was out there alone.
I understand they're bringing a lot of people in from that area right now.
Do you know if anyone was hurt?
I'll let you know as soon as I know.
Appreciate it.
When someone comes to help, when someone cares, you're there. You're the friend and the teacher. You make it all possible when you give. This is just one day in John Nolan's life. It's one day in all our lives. But what you do today, right now, can be the most important day of the year for millions of people who need the help your fair share pledge can make possible. If you listen, and you can hear them saying thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Daddy.
On behalf of all the people who are helped and all the agencies that serve, this is Charlton Heston asking you to give your fair share to the United Way. Thanks to you, it works.